The rivalry between Israel Adesanya and Dricus du Plessis has rapidly become one of the most intense and emotionally charged feuds in the modern era of the UFC. What began as a competition between two of the best middleweights in the world has escalated into a deeply personal and heated confrontation that has captured the attention of fight fans around the globe. The animosity between these two fighters is more than just a battle for supremacy in the octagon. It's a clash of pride, identity, and respect. Adesanya, known as the Last Stylebender, and du Plessis, nicknamed Stillknocks, have been on a collision course since they both began making waves in the middleweight division. With their impressive records and unique fighting styles, it was inevitable that they would eventually face each other. However, their rivalry took a sharp turn when du Plessis made a controversial statement that ignited a firestorm of tension between the two. The South African fighter, in what many perceived as a bold and provocative move, claimed that he would be the first real African UFC champion. This comment did not sit well with Adesanya, who was born in Nigeria and has proudly represented his African heritage throughout his career. At the time, there were 3 simultaneous UFC title holders of African descent, including Adesanya himself, Kamaru Usman, and Francis Ngannou. Du Plessis' statement struck a nerve, and it didn't take long for Adesanya to respond. For Adesanya, the remark was more than just trash talk. It was a personal attack on his identity and accomplishments. The Nigerian-born fighter, who has spent much of his life in New Zealand, has always been vocal about his African roots and the pride he takes in being a champion from the continent. To hear du Plessis, who also has African roots, dismiss his achievements as somehow less valid or authentic was a serious affront. The tension between the two fighters quickly escalated, with Adesanya making it clear that defeating du Plessis had become a mission bigger than any UFC title. As their rivalry grew, so did the anticipation for their inevitable showdown. Fans and analysts alike began speculating on how the clash of these two titans would unfold, not just in the octagon, but in the lead-up to the fight. The bad blood between them was evident in every interaction, with both fighters taking verbal jabs at each other in interviews and social media posts. However, it was during the UFC 305 press conference that the rivalry truly reached a boiling point. The press conference, which was intended to promote the upcoming fight, quickly turned into a war of words. The tension in the room was palpable as Adesanya and du Plessis faced off, each man determined to assert his dominance not just in the ring, but in the psychological battle that often precedes a major fight. What began as a standard promotional event soon spiraled out of control when du Plessis made another comment that struck a deeply personal chord with Adesanya. In a heated exchange, Adesanya, visibly angered, could no longer contain his emotions. "Shut the up. You don't even know anything about my story," he fired back at du Plessis, his voice filled with raw emotion. The room fell silent as Adesanya continued, his words cutting through the tension like a knife. "You have no idea who the I am," he declared, his anger barely contained. What followed was a rare and deeply personal moment in the world of professional sports. Adesanya, known for his confidence and composure, began to recount the struggles he and his family endured during his upbringing. "My father and myself had to wake up at 4 a.m. and clean the banks while my mom studied to be a nurse," he revealed, his voice trembling with the weight of the memories. "You don't know my story. Don't speak on my story if you don't know my story." The outburst was a powerful reminder that beneath the bravado and showmanship, fighters like Adesanya carry with them the scars of their past. For Adesanya, his journey to the top of the UFC has been anything but easy, and du Plessis' comments had struck a nerve that went far beyond the sport. In that moment, Adesanya was not just defending his title or his reputation. He was defending his identity, his family, and the struggles they had overcome. As the exchange continued, it became clear that this was no ordinary rivalry. Du Plessis, seemingly unfazed by Adesanya's emotional response, pressed on, further escalating the situation. His persistence on a sensitive subject pushed Adesanya to the brink, bringing the champion to the verge of tears. It was a moment of vulnerability that few had ever seen from the usually stoic Adesanya, and it underscored just how deeply the rivalry had cut into his personal life.